Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. This is Mrs. Prema Janardhan, Vice Principal. We will be talking to you on the module 1, Concepts and Definitions. Learning objectives: to understand the need for crime prevention, history of crime prevention, punishment and treatment, definition of crime prevention concepts, level of crime prevention strategies, crime prevention and community safety, sustainable crime prevention. Introduction: prevention is better than cure. The need for crime prevention. Preventing the occurrence of an illness is easier and health-wise better than searching for a cure and curbing its detrimental effects. This age-old wisdom makes similar sense in the case of crime. Violence and crime is very similar to an epidemic of a contagious disease. Incidents of crime and violence not only impact an individual but also the community. It affects a country's economic prospects as it scares away investors and diverts large amounts of scarce resources from development. The cause of crime and violence are multidimensional, ranging from factors such as social exclusion and marginalization to lack of social control, lack of social integration into the society, and socialization in the family sphere and schooling, among others. High levels of violence and crime in the form of homicide, rape, abuse, suicide, robberies and civil unrest result in individuals living in fear of becoming victims of criminal acts of violence and harboring feelings of insecurity within the environment they live. Many victims too young, weak or ill to protect themselves for forced by social pressure to keep silent about their experience. Penology and prevention of crime. Penology is a section of criminology that deals with the philosophy and practice of various societies in their attempts to repress criminal activities and satisfy public opinion via appropriate treatment regime and for persons convicted of crime or offense. It is a term coined by Francis Leiber and is derived from the Latin word pena, which means punishment. Penology concerned with the effectiveness of those social processes devised and adopted for the prevention of crime via the repression or inhibition of criminal intent via the fear of punishment. All authorities on penology acknowledge that one of the most important duties of the state society is that of removing the causes which contribute to the commission of crime. History of crime prevention. Earliest response of crime were left up to the individual and his family. The Code of Hammurabi was put together by Hammurabi, a Babylonian king, as a set of written rules for his people to obey. This code outlined retribution by the victim. Norman conquest of England 1066, an obligatory form of vocational citizen policing. Crime was rampant throughout England and Wales in 1655. When Oliver Cromwell led an effort to establish an organized body of professional police. This attempt was strongly opposed principally by the wealthy, but Cromwell prevailed and England and Wales were divided into 12 police districts. Opposition to the concept continued to grow, however. Cromwell was forced to abandon his effort. In 1729, Thomas de Vale was appointed to the Commission of Peace for the country in Middlesex in the city of Westminster and is recognized as the first important milestone in the history of the British police and crime prevention. A common feeling at the time was that those who forced the law had a vested interest in the crime. Determined to alter the system, de Valier developed an organization of thief takers and informers. This led to the birth of crime prevention concept. In the mid 1700s, Henry Fielding took first positive step to stamp out crime, prevent future outbreaks, elicit public help, remove crime conditions, establish a strong police force. He is known for taking the first positive step in forming a responsible police organization, changing public attitudes towards policing and in particular for the prevention of crime. He is known as a father of crime prevention. Combined with these objectives, which remain as a basic principle for crime prevention, Fielding initiated the first known crime prevention campaign by appealing to the public through advertisements in the press. Before he could see the total implementation of an organized police system, he died. His half-brother John Fielding, who was Henry's companion and assistant, continued Fielding's work. Sir Robert Peel, considered the father of law enforcement, he is associated with the principles of policing still applicable today. The basic mission for which the police exists is to prevent crime and disorder. The ability of the police to perform their duties is dependent upon the public approval of police actions. Most public secure the willing cooperation of the public in voluntary observance of the law to be able to secure and maintain the respect of the public. The degree of the cooperation of the public that can be secured diminishes proportionately to the necessity of use of force. Police seek and preserve public favor not by creating to public opinion but by constantly demonstrating absolute impartial service to the law. Police use physical force to the extent necessary to secure observance of the law or to restore order only when the expertise of persuasion, advice and warning is found to be insufficient. Police should maintain a relationship with the public that gives reality to the historic tradition. The police are the public and public are the police. The police are charged with the duties that are incumbent on all the citizens. Police should always direct their actions strictly towards their functions and never appear to usurp the powers of judiciary. The test of police efficiency is absence of crime and disorder, not to the visible evidence of police action in dealing with it. In the 20th century, formal police forces became the norm. There was the growth of scientific study of crime and criminal behavior. One of the prime examples of early crime prevention in America was the advent of the juvenile court system. Today it has become community based programs with the prevention at the neighborhood level in every community. Punishment, treatment and crime prevention. According to Flo, punishment is a painful and unpleasant consequence intentionally imposed by other persons upon an offender or for the offence against legal rules under authority of the legal system against which the offence was committed. Sometimes the application of unpleasant consequences of individuals may not be circumscribed by the concept of punishment. Individuals like psychopaths, troubled children, suicidal individuals and drug addicts may be subject to therapeutic treatment through the legal process. Packer observes that the purposes of imposing a consequence is crime prevention, then the consequence is punishment, and if the purpose is social protection or individual betterment is treatment. The justification behind punishment has always been that it will deter crime. The primary goal of the criminal justice system is prevention of crime. Prime purpose of the American Penal Code is to be forbid and prevent crimes, and the principal purpose of sentencing and treatment of offenders is to prevent the commission of offences. However, there is no such stated objective in the Indian Penal Code. The Code of Criminal Procedures refers to the prevention only in the context of powers granted to the police to prevent the commission of a cognizable offence. Crime prevention triangle. The crime prevention triangle identifies three factors that create a criminal offence: desire of a criminal to commit a crime, target of the criminal's desire, the opportunity for the crime to be committed. By eliminating any one of these elements, a crime cannot occur. It is difficult to effect or remove a criminal's desire to commit a crime. If someone really wants to commit a crime, they will. Similarly, it is not possible to influence the ability of a criminal to commit a crime. A motivated offender may be thousands of miles away and yet may commit the crime using a phone or internet. Crime can be greatly reduced by elimination of any one of the three sides of the crime triangle, increasing the risk of apprehension and or the effort required committing the offence and or by reducing the rewards available. Strategies to prevent crimes may be therefore increase the risk of apprehension, increase the effort of to commit offence, reduce the rewards to the offender. Definition of crime prevention. National Crime Prevention Institute of USA defines crime prevention as the anticipation, recognition and appraisal of a crime risk and the initiation of action to remove or reduce it. Wikipedia defines crime prevention as the attempt to reduce and deter crime and criminals. It is applied specifically to the efforts made by the governments to reduce crime, enforce the law and maintain criminal justice. Oxford Dictionary defines it as the adoption of measures intended to reduce or inhibit criminal activity, especially by implementing programs to deter potentially offenders or to enhance the security of potential targets. A comprehensive definition is provided by the UN guidelines for crime prevention as strategies and measures that seek to reduce the risk of crimes occurring and their potential harmful effects on individuals and society, including fear of crime by intervening to influence their multiple causes. Crime prevention concepts. Research on crime prevention has resulted in several approaches and responses developed in the last few decades. Some of these include developmental, environmental, situational, social and community based crime prevention and intervention. The UN guidelines for the prevention of crime groups the approaches and the programs into four main categories. Crime prevention through social development. It includes a range of social, educational, health and training programs such as those that target at-risk children or families when the children are very young to provide them with support and children rearing skills. Some early intervention programs are also referred to as developmental crime prevention since they try to intervene to develop resilience and social skills among children and their families. Programs may also target groups of children in areas where children and young people are at particular risk, such as street children or children living in informal settlements or disadvantaged areas. Other examples include education projects in schools or recreation and skill training projects for children and young people in the community, also in an attempt to increase awareness and resilience as they grow up and develop. Prevention programs of this type promote the well-being of people and encourage pro-social behavior through social and economic, health and educational measures with a particular emphasis on children and youth and focus on the risk of protective factors associated with crime and victimization. Community or locally based crime prevention. This type of prevention targets areas instead of individuals where the risk of becoming involved in crime or being victimized are high. This includes areas with high levels of deprivation both in terms of infrastructure services and wealth or lack of community cohesion. This can include slums and informal settlements or inner city or suburb housing projects, often areas concentration of economic and social problems. Such programs work to increase the sense of safety and security of the residents of a particular community to respond to community concerns and crime problems affecting the population and to increase the services and social capital or social cohesion in the community. Social capital generally refers to the network of social relationships, trust and shared values. Community involvement or sense of civic identity that exists in a neighborhood. Community crime prevention often involves the active participation of local residents and organizations in those communities and neighborhoods. The term community can refer to small neighborhoods, areas within a city or small villages or towns in some cases groups of citizens with particular concerns such as program aimed to change the conditions in neighborhoods that influence offending, victimization and the insecurity that results from crime that by building the initiatives, expertise and commitment of community members. Situational crime prevention. Situational crime prevention covers approaches that aim to reduce the opportunities for people to commit crimes, to increase the risk and cost of being caught and to minimize the benefits. According to the guidelines from the prevention of crime, such approaches help prevent the occurrence of crimes by reducing opportunities, increasing risk of being apprehended and minimizing benefits including through environmental design and by providing assistance and information to potential and actual victims. 5 specific categories of situational prevention strategies have been identified. Those that increase the effort of offenders, those that increase the risk of offenders, those that reduce the rewards for offenders, those that reduce the provocation to offend, those that remove the excuses for offending, and situational techniques are designed to be directed at highly specific forms of crime and assume that would-be offenders make rational decisions about the potential risk and reward of breaking the law. They involve the management, design, or manipulation of the immediate environment in a systematic and permanent way. For example, such techniques include designing public spaces or housing to make it more difficult for people to break equipments or enter buildings without permission, or making products so that they can be identified if they are stolen. Other examples include the use of closed circuit televisions to protect car parks, or the development of pedestrian pavements, gardens and seats in the public area to encourage greater public use with increased surveillance of that public space. Situational crime prevention is closely associated with the environmental crime prevention and crime prevention through environmental design, which is more specifically concerned with changes to the built environment for landscape or landscape. Reintegration programs. Crime prevention through reintegration refers to all programs that work with children, young people and or adults already involved in the crime justice system, including those in custody and returning to the community. According to the guidelines for the prevention of crime, it is important to prevent recidivism by assisting in the social reintegration of offenders and other preventive mechanisms. Those convicted of offences run the greatest risk of reoffending, given that they have already broken the law, have few opportunities and skills to pursue legitimate non-criminal lifestyle, and may have strong links with other offenders and offending lifestyles. Providing them with life and job skills trainings, education alternatives, lifestyles and role models and good support and housing in the community are the ways to assist with their reintegration. Programs in the prison may help to prepare them for release by providing them with new work skills or increasing their educational levels and social skills, including the ability to mediate conflict situations. And through the use of other restorative approaches, programs may take place in the community or in the halfway homes or sheltered homes that provide safe accommodation and in-house support and advice, and may include apprenticeship programs, the job creation schemes, life skill trainings, micro credit facilities and long term support. Programs that teach conflict resolution skills or use restorative justice approaches such as victim offender mediation or family or group community conferencing are other examples of ways in which offenders can be assisted in returning to the civil society. These are all examples of crime prevention focusing on reintegration with the overall aim of prevention of reoffending. Levels of crime prevention strategies. Brattingham and Ford conceptualization crime prevention as operating at 3 levels: primary, secondary and tertiary level. According to them, primary crime prevention identifies conditions of physical, social and environment that provide opportunities for or precipitate criminal acts. The objective of the intervention is to alter those conditions so that crimes cannot occur. Secondary crime prevention engages in early identification of potential offenders and seek to intervene in their lives in such a way that they never commit crime violation. Tertiary crime prevention deals with the actual offenders and involve intervention in their lives in such a fashion that they not only commit further offences. The most common effective crime prevention is at the primary level. However, in most criminal justice system including India, the prevention activities occur at the secondary and tertiary level. The above figure provides a view of crime prevention activities by police, courts and prisons as identified in the American criminal justice system. The reasons for focus at these 2 levels and not at the primary level is due to the challenges in the implementation, resources and ethical considerations. The criminal justice system is charged with tertiary prevention. The assumption is that through effective intervention, the offender will be fully restored to a permanent functional level of socially acceptable behavior. For these offenders whose behavior is not amenable to modification through known forms of punishment or treatment, tertiary prevention aims to provide such control of the offender's behavior as is necessary to protect society and elicit the highest and most sustained level of conforming behavior possible. The preventive aspect of intervention at this level may be found in the notion that such intervention keeps society from being placed at increased risk, keeps the offender from being placed at greater risk for his own harmful behavior and from excessive retelling of others and keeps conditions from occurring which offer no opportunity and encouragement for whatever higher levels of conforming behavior the offender might be capable of achieving at some time future. For offenders whose criminal behavior is not amenable to the correction through known forms of punishment and treatment, and who are seen as potentially dangerous to the society, the traditional societal reaction has been incapitation and the imposition of lifetime or long term confinement in a secure setting. This confinement has been justified as societal protection. Theoretically, it is assumed that the behavior of offenders in this category might improve to some degree, but not sufficiently to warrant their release from custody in the near future. However, any behavioral improvement is desirable. Offenders who are not seen as potentially serious threats to society, the correctional system combines rehabilitation and reform to elicit more conforming behavior. The hope is that behavioral improvements for these prisoners will be sufficient to inhibit further illegal activities. Effective tertiary prevention is thus the primary goal of the correctional subsystem. Secondary prevention is the level at which crime prevention is most fervently pursued in research and program funding. Courts, prohibition and parole services, general social services, educational institutions, planners, private citizens and police all engage in secondary prevention. It is argued that poverty, low educational level, lack of vocational skills, minority status and poor physical and mental health are all associated with criminal activity. The assumption is that these social and physical problems are causally related to crime. Primary prevention is the identification of those conditions of the physical and social environment that provide opportunities for or precipitate criminal behavior, and that the alteration of those conditions so that no crimes occur. Primary prevention consists of interventions that are employed before any crime has occurred to prevent initial perpetration and victimization. Primary prevention includes building an environment that encourages well-being and healthy choices. This could include approaches such as public dissemination of information and resources. Crime prevention and community safety. One of the most common assumptions about crime prevention is that it can be clearly separated from other areas of activity, and that it is restricted to academia and solely the province of the police and justice system. In fact, many interventions that help to prevent crime are called something else, whether early childhood intervention, educational and employment support during treatment or urban renewal. Crime prevention is not the only term commonly in use internationally. In different contexts and countries, other terms such as safety and security, crime reduction and community safety are often used. The term community safety is commonly used to refer to the broader range of issues that must be tackled to promise safer cities and communities, and with the outcomes that bring benefits beyond an absence of crime. Crime prevention has been deemed a police term, while community safety is preferred as a local authority. In Britain, to signify a broader set of interest in crime consequences. What is important regardless of the terminology preferred is the use of a strategic approach, and that enables policymakers and practitioners to tailor interventions to the problems they confront, selecting from a wide range of interventions, finding a balance between the need for short-term and long-term outcomes as well as protecting human rights. Sustainable crime prevention. Crime prevention can also be linked to the notions of sustainable development and sustainable livelihoods, in the sense that it should meet the needs of the present without compromising those of the future generation. This is especially relevant in middle and low economic countries. Efforts should be aimed at increasing the capacities and resources of population, providing opportunities for the next generation and helping in increasing intergenerational capital. Sustaining crimes prevention strategies beyond the life of a government is an important part of this process. Figures show crime prevention strategies that can contribute to sustainable development. Crime prevention contributes to sustainable development by reducing violence, fostering social inclusion, reintegration, empowerment of victims, and by protecting environment and economic resources. Conclusion. If the purpose of imposing an unpleasant consequence on an offender is individual betterment and social protection, then it is the treatment. and if the purpose of crime prevention, it is the punishment. The birth of the concept of crime prevention came about in the 1700s. Sir Henry Fielding is the father of crime prevention, who gave the core principles for crime prevention. Sir Robert Peel is known as the father of law enforcement and associated with the 9 principles of policing still prevalent today. Crime prevention is the anticipation, recognition and appraisal of a crime risk and in the initiation of the action to remove or reduce it. Crime prevention can be conceptualized as the prevention through social development, locally based crime prevention, situational crime prevention and in reintegration programs. Crime prevention through social development promotes the well-being of people and encourages pro-social behavior through social, economic, health and educational measures with a particular emphasis on children and youth and focus on the risk and protective factors as associated with the crime and victimization. Locally based crime prevention targets areas with high levels of deprivation and work to increase the sense of safety and security of the residents of particular communities to respond to community concerns and crime problems affecting the population and to increase the services and social capital or social cohesion in the community. Situational crime prevention prevents the occurrence of crimes by reducing opportunities, increasing the risk of being apprehended and minimizing benefits including through environmental design and by providing assistance and information to potential and actual victims. Reintegration programs prevent recidivism and by assisting in social reintegration of offenders into the community. Crime prevention operates at 3 levels: primary, secondary and tertiary. The most effective crime prevention happens at the primary level by reducing opportunities or precipitating factors of crime in the environment. Currently, crime prevention as a concept is moving towards community based neighborhood programs. Thank you for watching EPG Pathshala.